What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk about how to move on from a narcissist after a breakup. Moving on from a breakup, just in general, even if you weren't in a relationship with a narcissist, is difficult because of the emotional attachment that you had with that person. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that the person was a narcissist, though. What separates like a normal breakup, like a difficult breakup, a normal relationship, and how difficult it is, breaking yourself away from it. What separates it from a narcissistic ex, being in a toxic relationship with someone like that, is the trauma bond. So that's a huge difference, because within that relationship there was some type of psychological abuse that took place, and it really affects you the most. So it's really difficult to move on from relationships like that, and I know I can speak from experience. But some of the ways that you can kind of get yourself from that, from that first that stage when it's really fresh, and when it's just something that's constantly on your mind, to the point where you can't even focus on just your daily routines, daily activities. You can't focus at work. You can hardly sleep at night, and when you do get a little shut eye, you keep waking up in the middle of the night, and it's just something that's constantly on your mind, a breakup. But ways of just kind of like getting yourself through that tough moment is to just just find ways of involving yourself in something that you didn't normally do when you were in that relationship. Just try to find yourself some new hobbies, and it really doesn't change anything as far as work, because work is always the same. And sometimes you can help what's on your mind, but the way to kind of just take your mind off those thoughts is to probably just start a conversation with someone. If you have that really good support system, it's good to know people who you can vent to. But when you're at work, you don't want to put too much on people, because another thing, you don't want to put people in your personal business if you don't really have that type of relationship with them. But it's good to just kind of like spark conversations with people and just talk about things in general that's going on in the world, to kind of help take your mind off of your breakup that you're going through.
1504442.
Sorry, I was getting a call. And some of the other ways of helping you move on from the toxic breakup is to kind of like, well, even with any breakup, is to just do things different. Change the settings where you most spent your time at with that person. Like, try not to go to the places where y'all used to go at the most. Things that are gonna remind you of the person is going to the restaurants where you would eat out at the most. Just doing stuff. And even if that is just something that you really enjoy doing with or without anyone else, just take some time away from it. Especially if it's going to constantly remind you of that person. And I'm talking about like the early stages of a breakup, when it's fresh and it's just something that's weighing down on your heart. Another thing to do is to get rid of their things. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, when you want to get rid of their things, first of all, you got to take it all the way back to how to break it off with a narcissist and separate your belongings from theirs. How to, like, give them their belongings, because they're going to make it difficult. They're going to make it messy. They're going to kind of like string you along. They're going to keep putting off for doing it another time, just to have an excuse to see you again, and just to just to make you miserable, because they know that you're trying to move on. And I'm talking about the type of relationship that you're breaking off with a narcissist, like, and it's for good, like the final discard, the one where they know that it ain't no going back. It won't be any second chances. It's over for good. We're done. Those are the type of breakups with a narcissist that they're really, really, really going to make it hard for you to move on and let go. And not only that you're dealing with, the psychological impact and the emotional connection you had to them, it's just like they just don't make it easy for you. They will not give you that closure that you need so you can move on forward with your life. They won't give you that peace of mind and knowing that you are even making the right decision. They want you to feel guilty. They want to punish you for moving on. And they just want to do things to really hurt you, to let you know that you're making the wrong decision. And, they like to flip the script and make it seem like, okay, so you moving on from me. They look at it as like a get back thing that you're doing with them. Like if it's something that you're doing out of spite, you're just trying to hurt them. They don't really get it. And that's a huge part of their egos. They don't really understand that when it's over, it's over. And this is not a game. I don't want you anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let me move on in peace. They don't want to give you that. So they're going to make it difficult for you, to just separate yourself from them by, first of all, they're just going to keep trying to contact you. And when they contact you, they're going to contact you to the point where they only reach out to you to kind of give you the rules, to so-called set boundaries, when it's like there are no boundaries anymore. It's over for good. And you've made that clear with them. But with them, of course, they look at it as a game. They think that you're playing. And they want you to know that it's not over until I say it's over, and you're not setting any boundaries with me. Like I'm going to show you, it's like they basically just want you to feel like you've made the wrong decision. And because you're sticking to it, they're going to show you that they can hurt you even worse. And it's like you're not trying to hurt them. You're just trying to make peace with this situation and move on without there being any conflict. You don't want to go toe to toe with them, but that's what they want. That's what they're trying to get out of you. So ways of moving on from that, you really have to take your time at figuring out, okay, because only you know who you are dealing with. But when it comes to toxic people, you really have to back away slowly and quietly from them. And you have to, you just have to be gentle with it. You can't be rough and just kind of like make noise about it and just be about whatever with them, because it's like you're putting up a fight, and that's what they want. They want to get that one with you. So it's just like you have to let them know, like, look, I'm good with things being the way it is, and I look forward to moving on with my life. I don't wish to be in a relationship with you anymore. This is just not what I wanted, and it took a lot out of me. And sometimes you have to let them know it's to the point where I may need to go speak with someone. I may need therapy. Even if you don't take it to that level with them, it's just that you just have to let them know in a settled way that it's over, and it's over for good. There's no us anymore. And then once you get past that moment, the narcissist, they're gonna give you the backlash of knowing that they feel like it's a game and they got to pay you back. So when it gets to that point, just sit back and watch how they react. Just watch how they react and watch how they respond to you. They may even act like they're not really bothered, but in the midst of them pretending to feel that way, trust me, they plotting and planning on doing something to make your life miserable for the next couple of weeks, months, maybe even the next year or so. Because that's just how much they're in for getting revenge on you. The narcissist just want to be in control of the narrative. And there's no way that they're going to let you just back out of this relationship quietly. And they're not going to give you peace. They're not. And you're in for a journey that needs to be peaceful. It needs to be to the point where it focuses on you, and that you do a lot of soul searching and reflecting on things, and as far as figuring out, how did I even end up in a relationship, a long-term relationship with someone like that? And why did I allow it to go on for so long? Why did I tolerate so much for so long? But in order to even get there, you're gonna, I'm not gonna say like play the game right along with them. It's like you have to play them at their own game. You just gotta play it smart, because they're smart as well, and they kind of get ahead of you with the punishments and everything, and then they want to try to put everybody against you. They need to look like a victim. They want everyone to hate you after the breakup. Like, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get very difficult for you to move on from them, but it's something that's necessary for you. Again, get rid of the things that y'all had together. Stop doing the things that y'all used to do together. And just try to find yourself again, and find new ways of just being alone. Find ways of being able to be alone without letting the thoughts of the narcissist and that toxic relationship haunt you. Like, they're gonna do their thing, but deal with them on a way where you let them know, like, I know what you're doing, and I know it's out of spite. I know that it's out of revenge, but if I have to fight you on it, I will. I've set boundaries already to the point where you can come here and get your stuff whenever, but you are not allowed to come here and harass my company, and you should stop trying to contact my family, and just stop speaking about me to people, because I know what you're doing, and kind of let them know that it's not bothering you. I spoke on this a long, long time ago. Even if it is, narcs, they're going to try to do things to sabotage good things you have going on. Just go through the motions and make it look enjoyable. You can't let them know that they are bothering you. Don't let them know that they're getting under your skin, because they know that they want up on you. They know that they're finally going to get that reaction out of you that they want. They really want you to beg for a second chance, because now they're punishing you, and you in the midst of all this punishment, and then at the same time trying to move on, and you just got so much on your mind, and it's just like you just want peace. So don't give them what they want, just for the sake of just to be peaceful with them, just to have peace. Like, just don't give them that. They don't deserve that, because sooner or later, the gig is going to be up to the point where other people is going to figure out who they are, because they're going to speak about you so much to the point where people are going to start to give them advice to just let it go and move on. And narcs, they don't want to hear that. They need people to be on their side. They need you to share the same, they need people to really agree with them to the point where it's like they need you to know, see, they feel the same way about you too. They want me to do this to you too, and they feel like you were like this, and and so you just can't really let that bother you, because that's just a part of the narcs' tactics. That's just something that they're going to do after a breakup. But moving on from a breakup, ways to move on from the breakup is just to break off yourself from the narcissist. Remove yourself from the narc. If y'all share a house together, you may have to find ways of finding your own place. You know, the one thing you want to do is plan this and take your time on planning moving on from a narc when you are living together. Because if you just up and just leave them, it's just like they really gonna make it hard for you to move on. So you want to really plan ahead. If you've been having these thoughts, don't just make a sudden move and just let them know what you're doing. Like, don't tell them. Never tell the narcissist your plans of moving out and moving on, you know, in the midst of a breakup, because they're going to make it hard for you to even make that first step. So you want to get your foot out the door first. You want to be settled and moved on somewhere else. And this video is really what's supposed to be talking about how to, like, like how to move on from the narc, how to start the healing process and getting over them. But before it even gets to that point, you're gonna have to know how to back away from the relationship from the start. So I hope some of my advice was helpful. I went through this, but some of, when I was moving on, some of the things I was doing was a little too quick, too sudden, too soon. And I wasn't giving myself that time that I needed to heal from a long-term toxic relationship. What I start to do is find ways of enjoying my life without the narcissist. I start to do things that I had never done in my younger years. I started to do them in my early 20s, mid 20s. And a lot of times people, they start to experience life in that way as a teenager. And I never did that. I didn't really have the time to, because my teenage years, when you would start to do things like that, I had to put that on a back burner because of how things were going on in my life, and I lost my mom and everything like that. And so I started to experience that later on down the line after the narc abuse. I never gave myself that time to heal in between. And the narcissist, it's like the narc, he called himself like discarding me. But the thing about it is, I really got the final discard, because when he thought that he would be able to hoover, love bomb, and come back around, he was in for a rude awakening, because I really had moved on. It's just I had moved on in the wrong way. I was partying, I was going out with friends and family, and I got acquainted with people and meeting new guys and stuff like that, and getting into relationship after relationship. It was just like I never gave myself that time to heal from that toxic relationship. So even though I wasn't going from bad relationship to bad relationship, that always stayed with me, because we had to co-parent. So that would always be that constant reminder that I don't care what you're doing now with your life, I'm going to always be here, and I'm going to continue to remind you that you can't get rid of me easy. So, it all depends on your situation and everything, and only you know the type of narcissist that you were dealing with. But either way it goes, when you're dealing with any type of narcissist, you have to back away from the relationship slowly, and don't give them your plans in order to move on peacefully and heal. I wouldn't advise anyone to move on to a relationship right after getting out of a relationship with anyone. It doesn't have to be a narcissist, but especially after getting out of a toxic relationship, I wouldn't jump into another one at all. I would give myself some time. But I did give myself time to really learn how to enjoy life and not, just not be on edge all the time, and not be put on this level of like just expecting certain things, or knowing what to expect from that certain person. So it was just like I didn't have to worry about pleasing anyone. I was just free to just do me, and I did that for a long time. So again, I wouldn't advise anyone to do it the way that I did, but you have to give yourself that time to heal before you start to move on. And healing, you cannot allow the narcissist to put conditions on your, the way that y'all coexist after that, because they're going to take a long time to come and get that stuff from your house, or however y'all do it. If you have something that they need to come and get, you may want to pack it up. I really can't touch on it because it depends on the person. Some of them are going to act a complete fool if you touch their stuff, pack it up, put it in the box, and put it in the corner of the house. But some of them, they won't. They're just going to come and get bits and pieces of it just to have to keep coming back around. And, so it all depends on that. But, they're going to make it difficult either way it goes, because they don't want to give up. They just don't want to give up on you. They just have that thing about them where they think that they are entitled to you, and they are not going to just let go that easy. So I didn't mean to make this video that long, but I hope that there's a message somewhere in here where you can kind of understand how you need to move on, the best way of moving on, and what not to do when you're moving on, because it's all about healing. And it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long process. And of course, the narc is going to be there trying to make it hard for you. But you have to find ways of just getting out of that mindset of wondering what are they going to think while you do this or while you do that. Because at the end of the day, they don't matter anymore. They don't matter. They don't exist. It's all about you now. So it's all about focusing on you and your peace of mind. So that's the end of this video. I want to thank y'all for watching. Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll talk to you soon.